The NASCAR Cup Series race officially concluded from Sonoma Raceway, and Shane Van Gisbergen picks up his third Cup Series victory of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from the Sonoma Raceway, the Toyota Save Mark 350. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. But let's begin by talking about the driver who picked up the win and the victory, and that, of course, is Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen today absolutely had a dominant race car. He led pretty much every single lap of this event. I think he led like 90 out of the 110 laps, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more at this point, and put on an absolute clinic in this race. And early in the event, the guys could actually keep up with him early in this race, but as the runs progressed and went on, that car was extremely good on the long runs. We saw the practice times yesterday. He had the best car in the 10-lap average. He was managing tires because the tires were going to be a major factor in this event. Shane Van Gisbergen, though, by the end of stage number one, had a near 5-second lead over the rest of the field and just started pulling away. He would, though, come down pit road at the end of stage number one. His teammate Ross Chastain will come off the corner and win stage number one. Christopher Bell ended up spinning out at one point as well. A couple other incidents happened on track, but not much really happened through stage one. Shane would end up finishing, I believe, second or third in the first stage. Then stage two began, and the field would actually be a little bit closer. William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, all those guys would stay with Shane, but Shane was managing his tires throughout this portion of the event, and once the tires really started coming in and they started being better, Shane just started pulling away once again from the rest of the field, but he wouldn't get as big of a lead this time as he got the last time. But as the run progressed, a lot of guys would come out on pit road. If you come down pit road, you could be starting up in front in stage number two. There'd be a couple incidents that happened on the restarts. I think Josh Berry got spun out at one point. A couple other guys ended up getting spun out near the end of that one as well. Shane would come down pit road. A couple guys would stay out, including Kyle Larson. But Larson would be the leader, while Shane Van Gisbergen would be in second position. And by the end of the final lap, there'd be little contact between SVG and Kyle Larson. But Shane got a really good run on Larson and took the race lead. And despite coming down pit road, he would come off the corner and win stage number two, continuing in dominating fashion. Then stage three began, and Shane Van Gisbergen got a pretty good restart. Briscoe hung with him really, really well throughout this run, but Shane got a really, really great run and started pulling away as the run progressed and went on. Now, we all knew these guys were going to have to come down pit road in the final 30 or 40 laps of this event, and they all started coming down pit road near the end of the event. First, guys like Chase Elliott came down pit road, then Cole Custer, those guys in the middle of the pack came down pit road. Shane would come down pit road with around 25 or 26 to go when Chase Briscoe would come down pit road. And Shane would come back in second position. Meanwhile, Michael McDowell was trying a little bit of a strategy, and he would basically stay out and try to make it to the end of the race on older tires. Eventually, though, Shane, after a couple laps of the run, he got a really great run on Michael McDowell and made the run to the inside and took the race lead from Michael McDowell, and he started pulling away from Chase Briscoe. But then a caution would come out with around 15 laps to go when a wheel from Cody Worth's car would unfortunately come off. The nut came off the car as well. There will be likely a penalty for a couple people on the team. They had just pitted a couple laps later. This would change everything because majority of the leaders would come down pit road, including Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell, guys like Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece. All those guys would end up coming down pit road. And then, coming back to the run of this race, we go back racing, and more contact would end up taking place going up in turn number 7. Noah Gragson would end up getting spun out. He spun back to the infield, had a lot of damage, and I believe that Ryan Preece and Kyle Larson also got some damage in the wreck and incident. The caution would come out once again. We got back racing once again, and another crash ended up taking place. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was trying to be way over aggressive, trying to hang out in his position, he would end up spinning into the infield and hit the tire barriers a little bit. This would cause a little bit of repair, and we go back green with 4 laps to go in this event, with Shane Van Gisbergen having a challenge from Chase Briscoe for a second, but was able to get the race lead. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott was coming. The car on the fresh tires was coming up to the front very, very quickly, and he charged his way up to third position. But coming back to the white flag of the event, Shane Van Gisbergen had about a 1.2 to 1.3 second lead. He was just managing his tires. He pulled out to a pretty good lead, and coming out the final corner, Shane Van Gisbergen comes over and picks up his third victory of the 2025 season and his 4th career NASCAR Cup Series win. What an absolute dominant performance for Shane Van Gisbergen. He becomes the first driver, I believe, since either Tony Stewart or Jeff Gordon to win 3 races in a row on road courses in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's the fastest driver to reach 4 wins in the NASCAR Cup Series since, I believe, Parnelli Jones back in 1967, and becomes now tied with Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin for the most wins this year. We all knew coming into 2025 that Shane Van Gisbergen was absolutely going to be the favorite to pick up the win on these road courses but today he absolutely put up a dominant clinic and a well-deserved win for the driver of the 88. He really never had anybody challenge him. Chase Briscoe was the closest all day to him, but no one could challenge him throughout the day, and he picks up a well-deserved and well-earned win. I think you can start making the argument that he may be the best road course racer of all time in NASCAR Cup history. He's so dominant at these tracks. He put up an incredible performance today. Congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on picking up the win. Also, Red Bull's first win as a sponsor since Casey Kane did it back in 2011 at Phoenix. So what a dominant day for Shane Van Gisbergen. A well-earned and well-deserved win. I think he's the best road course racer in NASCAR without question. So now we're going ahead and take a look at the race results. I'll give my score thoughts on today's race. So Shane Van Gisbergen picks up the win. Chase Briscoe finishes second. Chase Briscoe had a really great run today. Had the only car, in my opinion, that could keep up with Shane Van Gisbergen throughout the event. They had a fast car all day. One of the best runs that Chase Briscoe's had all year. Great run for Briscoe. He finished second. Chase Elliott finished third. He was coming near the end of the race to try to challenge SVG for the win, but unfortunately just ran out of time on the fresh tires. But Chase Elliott continued to put on some really good performances as of late. Great run for Elliott. He finishes in third. Michael McDowell finished fourth. He struggled early. They played a strategy that really helped him get a chance and opportunity to pick up the win. He put on a great performance today, finishes in the top five, another top five at a road course for McDowell. Great run for him. Christopher Bell finished fifth. Bell had top five car all day, played the strategy, got a really solid finish in the event, ran top five, top 10 most of the day for a team that's been inconsistent. Great run for Bell in fifth. Tyler Reddick finished sixth. They really weren't that fast today, in my opinion. They probably had about an 8th to 10th place car, but they struggled throughout the day to be factors, but it was a really good run for him, all things considered, to get a top 10. Another top 10, though, for Reddick. Solid day for him. Ty Gibbs finished seventh. There was a little bit of controversy between him and I believe Brad Keselowski's pit crew. They actually got into a fight on pit road, but Ty Gibbs didn't have the car under him to contend for the victory, but he had a solid top 10 run in seventh. Good run for him. William Byron finished eighth. They played the strategy, lost some track position near the end, but Byron had one of the cars that could keep up with SVG at points throughout the day. So a solid day nonetheless for him in eighth. Great run for William Byron. Joe Logano finished ninth. A quiet top 10 run near the end of the race. Logano was never really a major factor to contend for the victory, but a solid day nonetheless. And Kyle Busch finished 10th. Busch struggled early. They were as far back as like 35th in this race, but they charged their way up to the front. They made adjustments, and Kyle Busch sneaks out with a top 10 finish. Not a bad day for Busch, all things considered. Brad Keselowski finished 11th. I think this is the best run we've seen Brad Keselowski have on road courses in quite some time. He straight up had a top 5, top 10 car most of the day, had one of the fastest cars in the field. Big improvement for someone who was complaining about road course racing not too long ago. A great run for Brad in 11th place. Ryan Preece finished 12th. He had some damage during the end of the event, but he had a solid run nonetheless in the top 15. Good run for Ryan Preece. Josh Berry finished 13th. One of the better road course races he had all year. He never really was a factor. Played some strategy. He got a good finish. Daniel Suarez finished 14th. Daniel Suarez never really had a car that could contend all day. He had about a top 15 car at best. Just a struggle all day long. He finished in 14th. Justin Haley got spun a little bit. He finished 15th. Chris Buescher finished 16th. He got into some beef with Ryan Blaney near the middle portion of this race. Buescher, though, had a really solid car, but not the finish to show for it. He finished in the mid-pack. Ty Dillon finished 17th. Guess what? Ty Dillon is advancing to the championship four. Beat Alex Bowman, gave him a bump and run, and he's going to the Final Four. I want Ty Dillon to win the whole thing at this point. Solid day for him is 17th. A.J. Allmendinger finished 18th. He got spun early in the race. Just not the great run for Allmendinger, all things considered. He does come home in the top 20, but I expected Allmendinger to be more of a factor. Alex Bowman finished 19th. He had top 10 speed at points, but just never the car to contend for the win. Denny Hamlin comes home with a top 20 and 20th. Not a bad day for him. Austin Dillon finished 21st. Todd Gillen finished 22nd. Cole Custer finished 23rd. Ross Chastain finished 24th. They came down pit road. They had a really good car today, but they played a bad strategy that cost them a shot at a great finish. Got some damage as well in one of those big incidents. He finished 24th. Riley Hurts finished 25th. Bubba Wallace finished 26th. They got a lot of stage points today, so that will help them, but just not a great run for Bubba. They came down pit road also trying to play up to the front. They never got a chance to get up there to contend for the victory. Really wasn't a factor to begin with. He finished 26th. Zane Smith was up in the top 15 most of the day. He finished 27th. John Nemechek finished 28th. Eric Jones finished 29th. And John Hunter is also advancing to the next round of the bracket. Austin Cindric, who struggled all day, he finished 30th. Catherine Lang is a top 35 and 31st. Not a terrible day for her, all things considered. Carson Osbar, who got spun near the end of the event, he finished in 32nd. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who got spun, finished 33rd. Cody Ware finished 34th. Kyle Larson finished 35th. This 5 team's definitely a little bit off. When you come to Sonoma, you expect Larson to be a factor, and Larson never really was a factor today. They got that car better, but he got spun late and just never had a chance to get up there near the end of the race to contend. Not a good run for Larson. A little worried about the 5 team right now, considering they seem to be off a little bit. Ryan Blaney, after getting crashed, finished 36th, and Noah Gragson, after crashing, finished last in 37th. So now let's talk about the overall race as a whole. Again, my score and thoughts on today's race. Yes, Shane Van Gisbergen absolutely dominated this event, and I will say that was pretty interesting that he dominated the whole entire race for the most part. But I think there was good racing throughout the field. Sure, no one really could challenge SVG, but he had some good racing happening throughout the field. It was not impossible to pass today, I will say. It was not as good as the Xfinity Series race yesterday, I will say, but I thought it was actually fun at points. He had good battles throughout the field. He had some chaos that was certainly interesting, and tires definitely didn't matter. If you had fresher tires, you could move through the field. Look at Chase Elliott, for example, restarted 14th near the end and got up to the front, but just no one really could challenge SVG. He just had the best car all day long. My score of today's NASCAR Cup Series race, I'm going to give this race about a 7. I'm going to probably give this race a 7.5 to 8 out of 10, kind of in that range. It was solid, wasn't spectacular, but it was a fun race for Sonoma. The last 2 races Sonoma actually been all right in my opinion. My score is going to be around a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race review from Sonoma Raceway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's get below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Shane Van Gisbergen on winning another race in the NASCAR Cup Series. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We'll talk a little bit more about the fight that happened on pit road. We'll talk about maybe some beefs that happened from today's race. We're also going to talk about, Carson Quaff rumors about maybe signing a deal with Penske perhaps. We're also going to talk about the great battle between Connor Zilisch and SVG tomorrow. We'll talk about Daniel Suarez a little bit more, maybe going to Junior Motorsports. We'll talk more about this race. We got content coming on people like Haley Leading and Shane Van Gisbergen cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Cletus Varn, Dodge Ram, Connor Zilisch, Red Bull, Frankie Muniz, Carson Quavo, Sam Marshall, the Creedy name. We'll talk about all this stuff in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.